It was a Friday afternoon, and I was just minutes from being able to go home by 5 o'clock. This had become a rarity for me since beginning to serve in a C suite role, but I was almost there when I heard a knock on my door. It was Catherine, one of my direct reports. She asked if I had a minute. I said, "Yes, I do," knowing that this was probably going to take more than a minute, and the chances of me being able to go home by 5 was probably not going to happen. Catherine asked, "Is it okay if I give you some feedback about this morning's team meeting?" I said, "Of course." She then shared the following. "Are you aware that you tend to listen to people in the meeting who are the most vocal and that are men?" I was stunned to hear this, as I always believed I was an inclusive leader. And then she told me how my biases were showing up, which made me realize that I have a lot to learn even as a seasoned professional. This was a watershed moment for me. Having been involved in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging efforts for many years, this experience crystallized for me that being an inclusive leader requires a lifelong commitment to being open to feedback as part of self-awareness and self-critique. Hi, I'm Joel Bettis, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can develop a posture of cultural humility so that you can become a strong leader. I'm a visionary leader and executive coach, inspiring speaker, and trusted consultant who empowers leaders and organizations to achieve their goals while cultivating a culture of inclusion and impact through cultural humility. My passion lies in helping others unlock their full potential and create the thriving, inclusive environments they aspire to lead. So, what is cultural humility? Cultural humility consists of three things: self-awareness and self-critique, redressing power imbalances, and changing organizations. Cultural humility is a posture that can help leaders navigate the complexity that comes with creating inclusive organizations and the challenges that come with leading those efforts so that you can become a strong leader. Why is developing a posture of cultural humility important? If you want to move from just being an effective leader to an exceptional leader, you will want to develop a posture of cultural humility. Effective leadership ensures that teams work well together and meet goals, whereas exceptional leadership elevates this by inspiring and empowering others, often creating lasting and positive change. Cultural humility will help you build an organization that will have a deep sense of belonging, that will lead your team members to want to work for you and be part of your organization. What are feelings associated with the sense of belonging? Phyllis Weiss Hazarat, a workplace consultant on belonging, describes it this way. The organization fosters a supportive and inclusive environment where individuals feel safe to speak up, be creative, and make mistakes without fear. Contributions are valued and recognized, and curiosity is encouraged. Creating a sense of belonging with your team will help you lead exceptionally, getting the most out of your team and retaining them at a high level. Developing self-awareness is no easy task, but vital if you are going to become a strong leader. It sometimes happens when people point something out about us that we need to get better at, like the example I shared at the beginning. It can also happen when we are intentional about seeking feedback. You'll then need to reflect on that feedback to make the necessary changes to become a strong leader. There are three things that are vital in developing self-awareness and self-critique that will help you in developing a posture of cultural humility. They are the following: becoming aware of your biases, developing cultural self-awareness, and getting to know those you lead and the people you work with. Acknowledging our biases is key to becoming a strong leader. If our biases go unchecked, they can lead to having stereotypes of people, which can then impact how you treat those people. This can cause people to not want to work for you or be involved in the organization. In the story I began with, if I did not learn to check the biases that Catherine was pointing out to me, I could have alienated the women and the introverts on my team that may have led them to leave the organization. Biases may never go away, but you can do things to mitigate the impact that biases have on you making you a strong leader. Developing cultural self-awareness is also important in developing self-awareness and self-critique. What is it? Cultural self-awareness is the process of identifying how culture has influenced you and how you navigate cultural differences in your life. Knowing this will help you immensely in developing a posture of cultural humility, as it will help you bridge across cultural differences. Another key aspect of developing cultural self-awareness is identifying the social identities that are salient for you. These are your identities that you identify based on group memberships. They could be your race, ethnicity, gender, sexual identity, faith, ability, national origin, and so forth. This is an important aspect of self-awareness because it will help you determine how people may be relating to you and how your identities impact the way you navigate cultural differences. Doing this will help you in developing a posture of cultural humility and working with people with similar cultural aspects, as well as how to navigate cultural differences. Getting clear on the biases you have and developing cultural self-awareness will help you in developing greater awareness beyond yourself. That is just how it sounds. Get to know the people around you so that you can become a strong leader. By developing recognition and understanding for others, you will gain an appreciation for the people on your team. Hear stories about their successes and the challenges that they may be facing. This makes you a responsive leader and develops a sense of belonging. As you get to know your people on your team and organization, they may share with you some of the challenges they are experiencing that may be keeping them from having a sense of belonging. Once you become aware of the possibility that those you lead are not feeling like they belong, you will want to take steps to begin to address this. Developing a sense of belonging for your team is essential in becoming a strong leader. This might mean looking at employee engagement surveys that you conduct to identify which groups in your organization may be experiencing challenges that need to be addressed. It was the latter months of the pandemic, and I was excited to be able to meet in person with my longtime mentor. I was about to share with her my idea for an online course I was developing on helping people move from cultural competency to cultural humility. After describing my idea, she looked at me and said, "That's great, Joel, that you're talking about how leaders can improve themselves when it comes to developing cultural humility, but so what?" I was surprised by her response. She went on to share with me her frustration based on her many years of working with people that just want to focus on the individual and not the organization. If you're going to want to become a strong leader, developing of cultural humility will not end with you. You'll want to lead efforts to change the organization. If you want to change an organization, you will need to develop a plan and have a framework that will guide your efforts. So what's it going to take? So now that you know what the characteristics are, what's it going to take to develop a posture of cultural humility? It starts with having a growth mindset. The reality is you are going to make mistakes. It's what you do when you make mistakes that will help you determine if you are going to be a strong leader. You need to approach mistakes with the growth mindset. My mistake with Catherine could have led me to tell myself, well, that's just the way I lead. She's just going to have to accept it. Or I could have gotten defensive and tried to explain my way out of it. Or worse, blame her for my mistake, telling her she just needed to speak up more. I use the mistake as a growth opportunity. That's the approach you need to take when you make mistakes, as difficult as that may be. This will help create a sense of belonging you wish to create in your organization. The second is developing deep curiosity, or the ability to ask questions so that you can learn more about what is happening in the moment instead of moving past something that gives you pause. Take the time to ask an open-ended question. This will be extremely helpful in becoming a strong leader. A way to start developing deep curiosity is by asking why and what if questions. Reading books and articles, listening to podcasts, or watching documentaries that present different viewpoints than what you are used to will also help develop a sense of curiosity. From time to time, I watch a news channel that presents a different political viewpoint than mine, so I can hear the other side's perspective. This has helped me stay curious about my own ways of thinking. The last thing I recommend if you want to develop a posture of cultural humility is that you develop the ability to deeply listen. Listening is key, yet many leaders do not take the time to develop their ability to listen. In his research, Oscar Trimboli, author of How to Listen, Discover the Hidden Keys to Better Communication, found that the more senior you are in the organization, the more your listening matters. Learning to listen deeply allows leaders to be fully present when they meet with people and in preparation for difficult meetings or when preparing to listen to others speak. In his research, Trimboli shares that if leaders were able to be more fully present, the length of meetings would be cut in half. How does one develop the ability to deeply listen? You need to practice so that you can develop the muscle memory. To do this, take 10 to 15 minutes before you enter into a conversation where you know that you need to be fully present. This can be done by practicing breathing exercises. Here are 2 examples that will help you get started. The first is box breathing, which is like it sounds. You take a deep breath, 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and you do that 3 more times, and that's box breathing. The second is a hand exercise where you take your hand, like so, take the index finger of your other hand, and as you run it up the finger, you breathe in, down, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Do this 3 times the next time you're going to walk into a meeting. Try one of those 2 exercises to help ground you. Having and maintaining a posture of cultural humility will mean continually taking time to be reflective and apply what you are learning. Why? Because like anything, things will continue to change. As a leader, you need to be agile so that you can adapt to the continuous change that comes to creating inclusive organizations with a deep sense of belonging. The important thing to remember is that you cannot do this work in isolation. Have you ever seen a redwood tree? If you have, you know that they grow really tall, and it was always my belief that they had deep roots. The reality is they don't. Their roots grow outward and intertwine with the roots of the other redwood trees around them. This helps them withstand strong winds and storms. Like the redwood trees, you will need to partner with others in developing a posture of cultural humility so that you can learn from each other and check yourself. Developing a posture of cultural humility with others could entail finding people you trust, like friends, colleagues, mentors, or coaches, so that you can share what you are learning and how to apply it. It could also mean holding each other accountable to make sure you are applying what you're learning and share the mistakes you are going to make so that you can support each other. Think of people you could partner with so you can start your journey of developing a posture of cultural humility so that you can become a strong leader.